Hello, true duelists. YGO Strats here. Once upon a time, I filmed a video of some of my deck boxes, showcasing that I have way too many decks because I have what medical professionals would call an addiction. But the point is, I have a lot of decks. I have wasted a lot of money, but I have a YouTube channel, so I can at least get that little bit extra out of them beyond just, playing them. The reason I have so many decks is because each have something to them that I like. Wow, that's not obvious. For some, it's just the artwork, for some, the play style, and some have a sense of nostalgia to them. There's a whole ton of reasons I can get interested in a deck, same for anyone. So I'm starting this series, which I'm tentatively calling Why I Play. It's just where I'm going to go over some of my decks, what I like about them, what I'd like from them, and just overall, why I play them. And I figure out why not start this series with the same archetype that started this channel, namely Blackwings. The reason I play Blackwings today is ultimately due to a bit of a dumb fluke. When I got into the game, I didn't really have any plans or ideas of what I was doing, really. I was just peak consumerism. I came, I saw, I purchased. I would buy tins and packs and eventually boxes from places like Walmart or just a local game shop based entirely 100% on what the cover monster was. I didn't look up what cards came in the set. I didn't look up anything. I had no idea what I was purchasing. I just knew that monster looked cool. And I did that for a while. And so I built up a very loose pile of bulk, a little bit of everything. And I had cards that I'd like to trade, and I had friends who had cards I wanted to trade for. One of my friends mentioned that he wanted to play Blackwings, and I had, over the time, acquired a lot of Blackwing cards from all my rampant spending and collecting. So I gathered up essentially a full deck. 3 Shura, 3 Bora, 3 Gale, 3 Whirlwind, 3 Kalute, almost every Syncro minus Armor Master, literally like the entire archetype at the time. And I'm like, dope! I can go get so many cards from Jake's gonna not have anything left to trade anymore. I'm getting all your shit, Jake. It's gonna be mine. You can just have this Blackwing deck, full thing there, ready to play, go, have fun. And it's gonna be great until I tell him I've got the cards here to trade, and he says no. He's not interested. He doesn't want to play them anymore. So here I am with a full deck that I didn't really initially care for, feeling somewhat scammed. I wanted to trade, man. He had like that cool silver wing card that was an equip for Stardust that I like. So I decide, fine, I'll play them myself. Which, truthfully, I'm thankful for. The deck was strong back then and gave me my first taste of competitive play against my friends. What kept me playing Blackwing after initially picking up the pile of Blackwing cards I had was its explosivity. Back in the day, I loved going second and opening Sirocco, Bora, and Gale because, totally consistent all the time. But man, when it happened, throwing down Sirocco, spamming out Gales and Boras, cutting their monsters' attack and defense in half, pumping all the attack of your Blackwings into Bora, and just punching the opponent's life points with that like 5k piercing minimum. Chef's kiss. I lived for that. Plus, afterwards, you could use those monsters to make Stardust, or eventually I ended up getting myself Armorwing because I found myself loving the deck so much. The deck was my first real archetype, and its consistency wowed me at the time. It was so much better than my 50 card pile with both Blue Eyes and Red Eyes, because unfortunately, yes, at one point in time, I was that guy. Not to mention with Black Whirlwind, not being once per turn, opening 2 or even 3 of it, and some Technin double summons, man, that deck had more gas than I knew what to do with. Another aspect that drew me to the deck was it was a Syncro deck. I had just gotten back into the game at the time, and Syncro were these crazy new white bordered cards that I wanted to try. Still to this day, Syncro remains my favorite extra deck type. I love the toolbox options you have across the various levels, the thought process you have to put into building your decks. How many tuners are you playing? What levels of tuners are you playing? How many non-tuners? What are those levels? Which synchros are worth going into over the other ones? It's not rocket science, but I've always felt that it requires a little bit more thought than just every good rank 4 Xyz or the generic good Link monsters. It's hardly unique to Blackwing, granted, but it's still an element of the deck that keeps me interested in it. And the deck has plenty of solid synchro options just within its own archetype. Rakiri can wipe boards. Hawk Joe is both the best name in the archetype and a solid piece of revival for synchro climbing. Abusing Nothung to get extra normal summons is great. Full Armor Master is towers and snatch steal. What more do you need? And personally, my favorite is Chidori because he's a big dumb idiot who just gets way too beefy for his own good. I love sitting on the board with a 5k Birdman. Solve this problem or I'm beating you to death. Look man, I played Halo CE back in the day, dude. I learned at an early age the way to win is to run in, spam grenades like you're going out of fashion, just blow up everything, shoot everything with everything. If you have cover, you're a coward. We are attacking and our defense strategy is to support attacking even more. Speaking of, that's another great aspect of this deck, the support. Blackwing has arguably gotten too much support over the years, certainly compared to an archetype like, I don't know, Volcanics. Sorry, Pain. It's kind of hilarious being someone who plays the deck and seeing the hate that it gets when support is announced. Don't get me wrong, I get it. It's definitely gotten more than its fair share, and there's definitely plenty of decks that need more. It's just funny to see Redditors molding. That's what it is. But, I mean, I'll happily take more support, especially when it's as consistent as Blackwing's support. Not all of its support has been top tier, and it's never been as it's never been as competitively relevant as it was back in 2009. But Chris the Krakadon, Pinaki were solid additions in 2016, and Nothung giving an extra normal summon and being an in-archetype cowboy was just great, on top of it being level 6, which just made climbing and extending so much easier than it had been prior. It made triggering Black Whirlwind easy as shit multiple times per turn. Fuck double summon. I can't believe I played that at any point in my life, but that was the underwhelming support. Simoon, Oster, and Full Armor Master are fantastic for the deck, and they keep in line with the same strategy the deck had back in 2009. Bird Swarm, plus out the ass with Whirlwind, run out of resources by turn 3. Easy every time. Are we gonna win the duel? We probably know by turn 1, but it doesn't matter, because like I said, by turn 3 we're done, we're gassed. It's over, man. This ain't that Gladiator Beast support where it goes from being a battle phase focused, tag out deck with unique playstyle and heart to it, to being generic 2020 build a board, oh well, Appaloosa's a good monster to end on, eh? The deck also has solid typing and a fantastic attribute. Being Winged Beast gives it access to great spell and trap support, Icarus attack in slower or older formats, and the new Wing Requital is trivial to get off in this deck. And since it's dark, you can use Allure of Darkness for even more draws, and it gives it easy synergy with Raid Raptors. You can tech that in as a small engine to help make the deck even more consistent, which is just king in Yu-Gi-Oh! The deck is far from perfect in today's meta. Not opening Simoon and or Whirlwind makes it hard to compete with meta threats, to say the least, and if the opponent knows that negating those is the way to go, then it's pretty tough sledding. It's very normal summon reliant. Almost all the extenders need another name on board to use, and if you don't have Whirlwind, it's pretty easy to burn through your hand and be out-resourced by the opponent. I also find it very difficult to break boards with the deck. Not counting obvious blowout cards like Dark Ruler No More, it's just tough to break boards with their native archetype. They just spam themselves. They don't really remove problems until you can synchro with them. A competent opponent won't let you do that. If the opponent can keep a Blackwing off your board, it is a struggle to do much of anything, at least in my experience. Big thanks to ABC for making that clear to me. Very clear to me. Still, with my current build of the deck, with Simoon, I can get 1 to 2 Armor Masters depending on what I want, maybe an Unchained Abomination, or a level 8 Synchro like Berserker of the Tenyi or Borload Savage, which is pretty solid going turn 1. Without opening Simoon, I can make a 3-mat Appaloosa and Cyber Dragon Infinity, because as much as I shit on, Gladiator Beasts for it, it's like, yeah man, Appaloosa is a good monster to make going first. I don't know what to tell you. it's Blackwings, we gotta do what we can. I can also just, make my deck build better by throwing in DPE. That's a pretty good way to make any deck better. Blackwing can put 2 monsters on board, and that's a Verte, kids. but I'm not spending the money on an extra DPE, and I'm too lazy to move that engine from deck to deck to deck to deck to deck every time I want to play something. So my deck is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I like Blackwing because it's a fun synchro spam deck. I like it because of the nostalgia the deck brings me back to my earliest days of playing this only mostly overpriced game. Why? It was supposed to be affordable after the reprint. I also like them, honestly, because the deck is mid as fuck. I'm just gonna say it. I apologize if you're a Blackwing player and you disagree. I find it a very middle-of-the-road deck. It's not easy wins every game. I lose plenty with them. But that makes me want to tweak the deck more. It makes me want to improve it and just see what I can do to make the deck better, what I can do to play better with the deck. It encourages me to keep playing. Oh, and it's totally getting another wave of support in the next 2 or 3 years, like guaranteed, and that's just, I've already got the full deck ready. I just need to buy 1 or 2 or 3 cheap cards and off to the races. But yeah, that is why I play Blackwing. That's it. That's probably what this series is going to be, more or less. I hope it was entertaining, at least. Maybe makes you want to give the archetype a try. I don't know. Who knows? This is my deck list. That's probably good to show, huh? Version like 286, probably. Like I said, I tinker with it. If any Blackwing players want to chime in, feel free. I'd love to know what your take is on improving the deck, or why maybe that's great or garbage. Who plays Blackwing? There's probably like 8 of us. Please. Talk to me. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead, leave a like if you liked it, leave a dislike, and then only I will see it because YouTube is a very competent company. But regardless, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, because remember, if you subscribe to YGO Strats, you're a true duelist.